Hello, everybody. Happiness is our topic today as we delve deeper into emotion and motivation. And so I want to start with a topic that probably you've considered. What makes you happy? So I want you to discuss with your partner what psychological characteristics contribute to lifelong happiness. All right, so the positive psychologists who scientifically explore what are things that contribute to this, they want to distinguish between two types of happiness, because that's a loaded term. So using the term well-being and distinguishing between hedonism or hedonic, pleasure-seeking, short-term happiness versus what we're looking at here is lifelong sustained fulfillment or eudaimonic happiness. What they have found, there are 5 factors that contribute to people's lifelong sustained eudaimonic happiness. H.A.P.P.Y makes a convenient acronym for us here. What do you suppose the H is that they have found contributes to lifelong happiness? Some of you mentioned it in your discussion. Health. Those that are healthier tend to be happier in the long term. Now, of course, if you have a chronic illness that's painful, that's going to impede happiness. They've also found there's some genetic predisposition for brain chemistry for some people to be happier than others. There's a set point. Even lottery winners 6 months later may go back to their sort of set point of happiness, but that doesn't mean it's 100% and that we're fated to be happy or not. There's a lot within our control. Healthy habits, diet, exercise, and such, healthy sleep habits are correlated with sustained eudaimonic well-being. H.A., what does the A stand for? Attitude. So it seems that those with a positive, optimistic attitude will tend to notice when things go right. Remember confirmation bias, we have a tendency to confirm or notice evidence that supports our view. Optimists tend to notice when things are going well. Pessimists, by the same token, will notice when things are not going so well. So yes, the glass half full is important here. Now, Viktor Frankl's an important guy. You may remember existential psychology. He was a Jewish man in the death camps, and as a psychologist was very interested in what he was viewing around him, as some succumbed quickly to the horrible conditions and died, while others seemed to thrive in this horrific situation. And he found that attitude had a lot to do with it. So his quote says it all, really, if you can't change the situation. Now, H.A.P., what does the P stand for? Well, purpose, and this relates to Frankl's research as well. People with a sense of purpose, a higher transcendent purpose, tend to be happier. Now, you'll notice the graph here. They do this poll every year. They've done it for years. What is to gauge the values of college freshmen and our society. And it seems we've become more materialistic, but not necessarily happier. And so that's certainly an issue to consider. So purpose is a big one. And if you remember Maslow, the peak of that pyramid, self-actualization, in his latter years, Maslow added self-transcendence even above that. So living for something beyond even your own selfish interests, that's something to strive for, some why in your life beyond your personal interests. H.A.P.P., what's the next P? And perhaps the most important in this list. The research shows by positive psychologists that people is going to be essential. Strong connections. It does not find, the research does not find that quantity of friends, like a bunch of buddies, contributes to it. It's the depth. So the quality of relationships for people you can disclose to your feelings and turn to when you need, that social network is essential for good happiness and correlated with well-being in the long run. H.A.P.P.Y. Finally, the last one here is yearning intrinsically. I had to make this one work with the Y here, but hey, yearning, what I mean there is motivation. The research shows that intrinsically motivating activities contribute to happiness. If you find a job, a day-to-day activity, part of your career that you do where it's intrinsically motivating, it's not for the money, it's not for attention or status, it's for the love of doing it. A day-to-day activity that you lose yourself in because it is its own reward, the daily activity. It's extremely fulfilling to have that day in and day out. That's why you want to try to find something and seek daily activities career-wise that are something you lose track of time, you lose yourself in. Yearning intrinsically motivating activity. And the work of DC and Ryan and their self-determination theory show that these things like autonomy, control, a sense of mastery or competence, and purpose again, these things are naturally, inherently, intrinsically motivating activities and related to what your career might be. H.A.P.P.Y. Now, considering these 5 factors in your journal, here's our final point. Reflect on how these research findings on eudaimonic well-being apply to you and your personal goals this semester. Which of the 5 factors is most relevant to you and your personal goal, and why? All right, see you next time.